exotic animals. Again, that's October 26th at Wyndham Garden in Gainesville, because kids of all ages love reptiles. Rep today.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
All right, 25 minutes before 10 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. You ever watch the news and you see how many attractive people are journalists? There's a lot of pretty people that work on TV news, right?
Oh, yeah.
I wonder why that is. Is there something in the genetic makeup of a pretty person that makes them want to read the news? Or is it the TV producers?
There you go.
That just look for pretty people. Not to take anything away from the intelligence of the brain behind the pretty face. But,
No.
but looks is an interesting commodity, or we put value on looks. And if you're an actress, especially an actor also, but mostly an actress. I guess you could find some examples where this wasn't the case, but a lot of times, especially young, brand new, just out of the, nobody knows you yet.
Oh, yeah.
Being pretty makes a difference for some reason. I guess it's part of who we are. I guess that's a psychologist's question. Frank Strausser is a producer, a playwright, and a novelist, and he's got a book that just might get some attractive people playing a role in a movie that is made from the book. The book is called Plastic. It's a psychological thriller novel about a young actress, right? Mm-hmm. Who gets assaulted. And the plastic surgeon working with her, Dr. Previn, I'm looking at my notes here, is kind of figuring out that something's not right. So let's find out what's happening here. Frank Strausser, it's an honor to have you on the show. Good morning.
Hey, my pleasure.
Are you pretty?
I'd like to think I'm very handsome. That may be healthy self-esteem. That's all that is.
So this is an interesting book, and the fact that you work with plays, and do you work with films also?
Yes, yeah. Well, I did. I produced a film, or helped to produce a film a long time ago with Toby Hooper, who directed the Texas Chainsaw Massacre and then Poltergeist. I produced a film called The Toolbox Murders. It was a horror film.
Ah, okay. So this, the cover alone on the book Plastic is disturbing. Just so you know, it's cleverly disturbing. It's not just. I don't want the audience to think it's blood and gore. It's an amazing, really well thought out cover. Not that I should talk about the cover a whole lot, but I just think it takes us into what this book is about, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, I hope so. The cover comes about because my protagonist, Dr. Helen Previn, is a sculptor, and he covers his clay heads with plastic. And just so people can understand, the cover is of a woman covered in her head in plastic, and there's also a shadow underneath, which is quite beautiful. But the idea was to suggest that as a motif that plastic, actually beauty is suffocating. And my mother was a sculptress, and she used to cover her heads with plastic, and I thought it was a little macabre, but it was also very, it's very right for this story and very provocative.
It's very profound that you say beauty is suffocating. Now, I don't know this firsthand, but I often wonder. I was in line at the grocery store, and the young lady with the cash register was pretty, and the guy in front of me was an idiot, and he was saying idiot things to her, and I thought, oh my gosh, he's only saying them because this woman is pretty, and so I often wonder what their life is like, especially if they're making a living with their prettiness, right?
Yeah, well, one of the things that provoked me to write this book is I was actually studying at the Beverly Hills Playhouse as a writer in an acting class, and that was where my first real foray into getting together with the beautiful people, if you will. Uh-huh. And there were a lot of very famous actors like Ann Archer and Jenna Elfman and Giovanni Ribisi. All these people were, Doris Roberts, the late Doris Roberts, were in this class. But I found that their careers were very tenuous in their mind, and a lot of it was this delicacy, this insecurity was derived from age and beauty. That these things were, could be pulled right out from under them, and that's what provoked me to start thinking about this world, which I called the capital of good looks. And I thought, who would be at the center of this? And it would be a plastic surgeon.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how it all came about. And I put this pop star, Fay Wray, who gets violently disfigured, at the center of it. It's a way of wrestling with what is beauty.
And then you have
the stakes. The stakes are very high in a place like this. Beauty is the be all and end all in many respects.
But you also have the characters of Helen and the character of Harry, and I do like the dialogue throughout the book.
Oh, well, thank you. Helen is his wife, who's a painter, and she's essentially a civilian. She's not really caught up in this Hollywood thing and all that, which he really caters to. And she can kind of call him on his on it all. I mean, they're going through a lot of trouble in their marriage because of the direction his life has taken. But I really like the idea that somebody was from the outside, and a woman looking at his world and the challenges that he was involved with and wrestling with. Is it worth it? Is this really what it's all about? Because we need that running argument or just debate. It's very and really helped to enrich the book.
And you do have that, a band of magic and satire, because Hollywood is really made up of both units. Yeah,
well, the book has a lot of humor in it. It is a satire of sorts. Satire, I mean, it is funny satire, but it's also, what it is social commentary. And the book has an aspect of that. I mean, the thing is, at the core of it, it is a pretty intense story.
Mm-hmm. It is.
And, you need to, the key is to drive things through conflict. And this man is very much challenged in this story at every corner, including in his marriage. And but it drives the story forward, and at the same time provokes us to think about the world in which we live in. That's my hope.
Does Dr. Previn's relationship with Fay Wray, does that affect his marriage?
Well, not in the obvious way that you would think. I mean, he doesn't get involved with Faye, but this is she's emblematic of these. I mean, the book starts with this line: "You left me for Demi Moore," and I mean, the wife is going through her problems with having a child, and she's frustrated. He's not there, and he's like, I don't do Demi. I with Demi. I don't do Demi. I mean, he's forever. And basically, from the wife's standpoint, if it isn't Demi, it was another one of these silly, these starlets or whatever. If it wasn't them, it was their mother. And it's always it's this world that you traffic in, and. So yeah, I mean, Faye is another one that he gets involved with in professionally. But the fact is, in a kind of weird way, she's a way for him to redeem himself and to find something bigger in his practice and in his journey as an artist, frankly. This is Humpty Dumpty. He's, it's tough, and this is probably one of his most difficult cases. There's so much at stake.
And this book isn't just about finding one person. I mean, it goes through multiple levels to really figure out what the cover-up is, and you've handled that wonderfully.
Yeah, I guess we didn't really touch on that. It is definitely a conspiracy, a cover-up, a conspiracy to cover up a crime, which, I mean, essentially that's what he was brought in to do, is to erase evidence of her assault. And he doesn't realize that initially, but that in essence is what the first rationale for him being there, and then he finds himself in the center of this whole thing, and which raises lots of questions, both about the world in which he's in. I mean, Hollywood is notorious for cover-ups and these kinds of conspiracies. I mean, we only need to look at Harvey Weinstein. I mean, he was trying to cover up everything around him and buy people out, blah blah blah. I mean, that's the way the world is there. But you know, I want to say that it was a great little conversation before I got on. I mean, you know, we're all in America subject to watching the TV and films, and we're all being provoked to have a Hollywood standard of looks and beauty, and that's one of the challenges of the times that we live in, and that we end up with unrealistic ideas and ideals as to what is beauty, and learning to appreciate imperfection is very difficult, because what we see around us is standards of perfection, and that's the criteria.
That's really true.
It's tough.
It's very profound. The book is called Plastic. It's written by Frank Strausser. I found it on Amazon, where you're getting some really good reviews. Let's see, I have a copy of it. If I have a listener who would like the book, give me a call, 622-9622, and I'll leave the copy that I have for one of you, and I'll pick you at random, by the way. Frank, do you have a website you'd like to direct us to?
Yeah, frankstrausser.com. That's STRAUSSER. Also, we're on Instagram and Facebook. You can follow us there. And the book is out on audio.
Nice.
I know a lot of people are into that. And this month it's a Kindle deal of the month. So it's only $1.99 for ebook.
Good job.
Nice.
Oh, my gosh. I love it. Frank, thank you so much for taking time to be with us today.
It's my pleasure. Thank you very much. And stay beautiful.
Yeah, I'll try. We'll be right back.
Thank you so much, Frank. Really had a great interview.